How's it going, guys? This is Vito. Welcome back to UFO War Room. This is episode 4. I'm joined with Mr. Jon Stewart. We're going to be going over the alien investigation or alien interrogation video. I'm joined with Mr. Jon Stewart yet again. John, for those who are at home who don't know who you are, if you want to just go ahead and tell us.
Yes, I am a former high school, college, semi-pro football player, former pro wrestler. I started in the Memphis territory with Jerry Lawler in 1986. My biggest stint was from 1988 to 91 on ESPN for the AWA. I then retired full-time out of wrestling in 93 when I got into promoting and my family automobile dealership. I did that for 25 years. I retired about 2 years ago, semi-retired. I also ran for Congress, Illinois governor, and Illinois Secretary of State. And in 2019, for whatever reason, I started this crazy investigation to simply find the truth of the 1997 Victor alien interview footage.
So people might not be familiar with what this is. If you want to go ahead and just go over what this video is for us, like explain to us what drew you to this video, like because it's good quality as far as for the time. The lighting I think throws me off a bit, but what is it that drew you specifically to that video that made you go, something's not right, something might be real, this thing looks legit?
Yeah, it was coming off the heels of the 1995 alien autopsy, so everyone was skeptical. And I kept seeing commercials for alien interview, and what drew me uh, was its authenticity of it being so casual. There was like a stool in the background. There were military people's shoulders in the foreground that weren't in the shot. The medical people that came in to attend to the being were wearing short sleeve scrubs. There was digital overlay graphics on the bottom, which was very expensive to do. So you have one end, this is a very bad hoax. The other end, very expensive things that are being put into it. The gray alien was tan, which didn't seem right to me. It had round eyes, not almond eyes. There was just really some uh, very interesting aspects that did not make sense to me and could quite possibly prove that it was a very casual, run of the mill, smuggled out film of an alien interview interrogation, like Victor said. But what really struck me was the verbiage, the candor, the philosophical message that Victor, the whistleblower, talked about in his interview on Coast to Coast with Art Bell. I just knew actors back then. I just knew that this guy was real, was authentic, was some sort of government employee, and why was a government employee mixed up in this maybe alleged hoax? And I knew one day I would investigate it. And sure enough, 30 years later, I ended up investigating it for 6 years and $30,000 of my money.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money to be investing. So what is it like ultimately that drew you? Like what, as far as, because it looks like, what is it exactly? Can you run down the video for me? Because I know you know the video by heart, right? So would you mind running down the video for me? Exactly what is it you're seeing? Because it throws me off. There's no, the ones that I've seen, there's no sound. I can't really tell. It looks like he's gasping for air. I can't tell what the hell's going on.
Right. Okay. From what I have deciphered, proven, whatnot, in 1991, this film was shot April 22nd. It is a VHS 16, originally on 16 millimeter. The 3-minute video starts. You see this gray alien, which is terracotta, bone colored, with round eyes. He is staring into the camera, kind of tilting its head. The room is dark, but the original video, which we do see, has a bluish closed circuit television hue to it. Mm-hmm. The production company darkened it for dramatic effect, which really gave more rise to it being a hoax than anything. They did more damage than they did good. And this video is this being is looking at the two military men in the foreground. It starts to cough and become distressed. Its mouth opens and closes strangely, simultaneously.
Yeah, it looks like Greedo. Reminded me of
Yeah,
Greedo from Star Wars a little bit, to be honest with you. The way
yeah, not
it's
not like a animatronic doll in Pirates of the Caribbean ride. And two medics come in to tend to it with a small torchlight and with gloves on and masks. And Victor said this was biosafety level 2, which coincides with the way the medics were dressed, which was gloves, masks, hat,
right.
and garments.
Yeah, bare minimum. Yeah.
Bare minimum, right? And the being is coughing. Black foam starts coming from its mouth. The eyes, the skin around the ocular cavity of the head is moving up and down, changing, morphing into shape, which was highly sophisticated for 1991 or 1996, the latest this could have been filmed, months before the documentary. And the video, the soundtrack was removed, Victor said, to not compromise the individuals in this filming. And the video ends as the creature sits back and kind of catches its breath and is stabilized by the medics.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I mean, what do you think? What do you think ever happened to this alien? Have you heard anything as far as what might have happened to the alien or anything?
Well, we have the
people?
story from Victor. Yeah, we have the story from Victor, who, other than the way this film left S2, the secret alien housing center south of Area 51, everything he said is true. And he did say that this being retired shortly after this interview was filmed, retired in the sense that it perished, it died. And that coincides with what we've heard from 4 other people in these programs, the Alien Retention and Interrogation Program, which falls under the Special Access Program called Project Aquarius, that no beings are alive anymore in the continental United States. They are all deceased. They are in either frozen cryogenic storage or in a liquid nitrogen type storage solution. And one, as crazy as this sounds, was returned back to its society. Crazy as that sounds.
How do you know all of that information? Like, where did you decipher that information?
Because for 6 years I have been the Pied Piper of people that have worked in this program and out at S2 Alpha, this secretive underground facility with its bottom level being the infamous S4. And they have come to me. They have all been working there at different years, different eras, different arms of the military, different private contractors, all saying the same damn narrative. And that's how you build a case as an investigator and a journalist, is taking whistleblower statements that whistleblowers who do not know your other contacts, but are all saying the same narrative.
Now,
and by piecing that together, I made my statements.
Are these people all willing to come forwards and like swear at all this stuff, or they're all like, no way?
Well, they came forward to me. No, of course not. No one is going to lose their pension,
right,
and their and risk going to jail and being tried for treason, because they've all signed these crazy NDA agreements, non-disclosure agreements. 2 men did come out who by chance had the DD-214s, would place them in this facility. One was the very controversial Richard Doty, the intel community, the intel person, who has the DD-214, places them at this facility, who told us, I don't know much about this video, other than I know it's real from being in this program from 78 to 88. And a Sergeant Michael Munoz, which nobody talks about because it proves the story, and we don't want Jon Stewart to be right. God forbid the crazy Italian guy from Chicago is actually correct.
Right.
Sergeant Michael Munoz from the Army, who came in on a chat group on YouTube and said, hey, morons, this guy Jon Stewart, he's telling you the truth. His whistleblowers are accurate. I was a procurement person for S2 Alpha. I could tell you how to get the wall clock, how to get a dignitary down there, and I'm going to tell you the code to get into this facility, Yankee White. We researched Yankee White, its numerical coding in the United States Intel is number 27, level 27. Do you know what's on the bottom of this film? The number 27 from 1996. So, I mean, it was stuff like that. We were just like, this is too coincidental. These heroes could come forward like Doty and Sergeant Munoz and Bob Lazar that all said the same redundant story. That there was a facilities around the rim of Papoose Lake, south of Area 51, that had reverse propulsion, and the management, interrogation, the interdiction, the housing of off-planet, interdimensional at times, biological beings.
That's what I was curious about. Is it because the coloring of the people say that the gray aliens can be different color, different species, different whatever.
Correct.
But this one definitely looks more different than what you typically see. So I'm curious if was this developed in a lab? Do you think this was actually captured from a craft? Do you think that this was like, where do you think they got this actual? If this alien is real and legitimate, and I'm not saying it's not, but if he is
right.
or she, where do you think they got this from? Like, do you know anything about it as far as how long it lived after the video? What type of distress? Because it looked like it was gasping for air. I'm assuming it breathes oxygen, and I mean, I don't even know.
This is amazing. None of the whistleblowers knew where that being came from. So, I don't want to get off on a tangent here. When everybody that's in the know that you had come forward all tell you we're really not sure. That, to me, is like a green flag. Like, wow, these people are all on the same page who don't know each other. So we never knew the provenance. We do know that it came to the facility at some point in 1989. Did it come from Sandia Labs? Did it come from Los Alamos? Did it come from Fort Hood, Fort Meade, Michael Reed Hospital? Did it come from Homestead in Florida, Wright-Patterson? We don't know.
Right.
We do know that it was a CBEB, a cloned extraterrestrial biological entity, type 2, from the star system Tau Ceti, which is in the Reticulum star constellation. And this was told to us by 3 people in the program. A clone you were looking at a clone android to some degree that was sent here. He was cloned. He was a haploid. He had only one sexual chromosome. So he made it via test tube or in vitro or a non-coitus type of reproduction. He was part biological synthetic android. They now call these type of alien beings ETs. I was told do not call them aliens anymore. That this is now called a saber, like a sword. Synthetic astrobiological extraterrestrial race. And they were part android machine, part biological material, so they could withstand the lengthy interstellar travel.
Huh. So I wonder if they do.
Said no retired car dealer ever.
Yeah, you've definitely had an interesting life, going from wrestler to almost governor to UFO chaser. Have you yourself ever witnessed a UFO or any type of anything? And if so, what have you seen?
I have in the Upper Peninsula. Yeah, in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where my family's summer home has been. It has been up there since 1962. Just about over what's called Watersmeet, which is a very weird place. This is the place of the Paulding Light, many other weird phenomenon. Off in the distance, the middle of the night, I saw a white, dull light do a loop-de-loop in the sky. I don't know, are Cessnas flying in the middle of the night doing a loop-de-loop? And then I was in Red Rock State Park in Nevada, where the petroglyphs are. I was in the back seat. My wife and her sister were in the front seat, and they were 2 Italian caccarones, chatterboxing. And I looked up to the right, and over Blue Diamond, I had to get that in. Over Blue Diamond, Arizona, I see this silver chrome sphere about 2,500 feet in the air. And I said, God, is that a nose cone of an American Airlines flight? But it was like a big beach ball the size of a small car. And I kept looking at it. I told my wife and her sister to look to the right, stop talking and look to the right up in the sky. And I looked at it. I saw it again. And it didn't fade away. It didn't fly away. It snapped off like a light switch. Bizarre. And when we drove into Blue Diamond, Arizona, I told people about it. 2 people saw it when I saw it. And they said, quote, that happens all the time. So those were my 2 encounters with alleged unknown UAP phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm 49, and I've always, I've believed my entire life we can't be the only thing. There's no way we're the only thing in this universe, or whatever you want to call it. There's no way we're the only thing.
No way.
And with all the things that people have seen over the centuries and millennia that have been documented all throughout time, there's no way that these things, it's the same thing people are seeing: orbs, spheres, cylinders, saucers. There's no way possible that we're the only thing.
Yeah.
So
Vito, Vito, extraterrestrials, UFOs have been the source code of religion.
Oh, for sure.
And I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in a creator. I've never, folks, 6 years after this crazy investigation, I've never been more spiritual in my life. I've never been happier in my life. I am a follower of the life of Jesus Christ. I'm not a believer. Why would I even think that there was a chance he didn't exist? I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I believe that he was sent down by a creator. I believe that many of the prophets or the scriptures in the Bible were misinterpreted visitations. I believe that these beings from antiquity at times did represent our creator. So yes, I 100% agree to you that a lot of the stories and scriptures and all of these cultures that have the same story of something intelligent coming down from the sky and intermingling, interacting, intermating, teaching the human Homo sapiens here on the planet can't all be a lie.
Yeah, I agree with you. But last year, I witnessed my first UFO, and it was during filming. I was out filming the drones. You know what I mean? I was just trying to get my YouTube channel to blow up a little bit. So I'm like, I'm filming these drones, and I start seeing, weird shit. And I look up, and I'm actually literally live streaming it over here. And from this side of me, something streaks across the sky, and it's a C-shaped craft that just glides across the sky like that and is gone. 5 minutes later, while I'm live streaming, a helicopter flies directly over me, like a couple hundred feet. Freaked me the hell out, like literally right over me. It's because, it happened, 2-3 football fields over to my left, and then within 5 minutes, some crazy blacked out helicopter flies over me. And then while I was filming these things, I kept seeing orbs. I kept seeing the drones do weird shit. So I believed my entire life, but now that I've actually seen something, this is what made me start branching off of the gaming and start doing the UFO stuff. And it's taken me a few months to decide what I want to do, but this is, I'm enjoying it. I've never been, And since I've been doing it, I've had random weird shit happen. So have you had random weird interactions with people? Have you had people approach you and say, maybe you should shut your mouth? Like what have you had? Can you run us through it? Is it safe for you to talk about?
A week into telling myself I'm going to investigate this, I contact Chad Kalick. He is the producer director of Mr. No Face. He thinks, and I believe this, that he filmed a gray alien peeking out of a building of a closed down mental health facility. I want everyone to listen to me. And I wrote him what I was doing. He makes this statement, and it's going to be the cold opening of my new documentary. He said, I was investigating ghosts for 20 years without any weirdness in my personal life, my domestic life, nothing, no weirdness. He said, John, I investigated gray aliens for 1 week, and in that week, my life at every point went absolutely haywire. And his prophetic warning to me has happened. My life for 6 years, I've got it documented. I've got it documented with Apple, local police, has been absolutely crazy. my iPhone, other people's Wi-Fi, computers. I was known as the Black Cloud 3 or 4 years ago. No podcaster could do a interview with me where something didn't technically go wrong. Where it quote, I would always hear, "This never happens." So
Oh yeah,
yes,
I just stepped on my plug, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
rest my case. It happens all the time. My life has never been threatened, but my intel people that have been handling me, and I'm one of the only UFO researchers that have been admitted. Yes, there's people in the government and retired people on the ancillary of this program that are handling me, or I like to say, helping me, guiding me. Yes, absolutely. I'm the only one to admit that, and I don't shy away from that. And have they warned me many times? Yes, but warned me of stuff not to talk about. I was warned never to talk about the different species of extraterrestrials, and don't ever talk about specifics of a future impending cataclysm. And I never have.
Okay, all right. And then here I am asking you about the species.
That's
Sorry
okay.
about-
It's okay. No.
So do you know if the people in the video, you've identified the people in the video, and you can actually, you were in some type of NDA before, now you're not, right? So what is it you can talk about now that you couldn't talk about before? And then have you figured out who all the people are, Victor, and all of the people? How many people are actually in the video total?
Well, there's only four with the alien, but there were a multitude of people in the ringed seating area looking at the being through the the viewing in the viewing gallery.
Oh, so that's kind of like a medical. Is it what the hell is it called?
That is correct, sir.
Gallery. What is it called? I
yes,
forget the word for it.
And gallery? It was ringed. It was a semicircle seating area.
And you're looking above or whatever, right? And that's what it was.
Yeah. That's correct.
Okay.
And and I've also identified the two men's shoulders that were in the foreground. Okay. That is the bombshell to me. There were people that thought, because when we were shown the original footage, the general on the left, when the medic shines the flashlight into the viewing gallery, he's African American general. Well, there was only 5 African American generals in '91. But anyways, when I went in 2022 on the Jeff Rentz program, an old conspiracy alternative news program, one of the oldest ones, a senior citizen started contacting me who had people that he knew in this program. And he promised to help me out as best he could. And on my birthday, 9 months later, I got the report from the DIA that runs the entire Project Aquarius, the umbrella project out at Papoose Lake. And it was the time and date of this interview, the type of being, who was in that room. And I got the names of the men looking at this alien and the one doctor in the room tending to it. His name was Dr. Wilford Webb Wilson. He died in Watsonville, California. This is the doctor to the being's right, our left. It's amazing, folks. I talked to his widow, who lives in California. She didn't think I was crazy. She listened to my speech about her elderly husband being in the alien program. And she said, "John, quote, a light bulb's coming on over my head. You're solving a family secret." Webb was so secretive that it almost cost us our marriage.
Wow.
And we could never understand why he never wanted to talk about his time in the U.S. Army Medical Corps / U.S. Air Force Medical Corps. Because he started in the 40s and then it became the Air Force.
Yeah, I get that, because as a fireman, I'm a firefighter. It's my career. I don't discuss anything I do with I don't tell any details, nothing. They don't need to know what I see and do.
So to the jerk off skeptics, we know it's an elderly man that gave me this list, this top secret list that was retranscribed from memory, so I wouldn't get in trouble. These intel people are smart.
Yeah.
They sidestepped the grenade of sending me top secret document. So from memory, I got a retranscribed document. So an elderly philanthropist, if you Wikipedia him, you'd see him on the red carpet with his elderly wife. Vito, listen to me. An elderly philanthropist worth hundreds of millions of dollars, in my opinion, or tens of billions, in a metropolitan city for 9 months is hoaxing a retired car dealer in Chicago, giving me the names of real senior citizens that were in this video from 1991, and one of the senior citizens' wives confirms that her husband was a doctor and that he was ultra secretive about his time in the U.S. Army.
Now, do you
Really,
are you
really,
filming?
folks?
Are you creating a documentary on all this? Like, do you have all this
I
documented
did.
on film?
I put out like a podcast documentary last Thanksgiving. We shut it down because we are now on the verge of doing a Netflix type,
Awesome.
big budget, 6-figure documentary.
Good
Yes.
for you. I hope that works
Yeah.
out for you.
Thank you. And then we contacted all the other people. The one at vice captain who was retired DIA director, but a captain in '91. I was emailing him for 4 days. This is the guy, one of the guys watching this video. He wanted me to go to East Coast, play golf with him. The minute I sent him this report, can you imagine? With his name on it, he ghosted me. And when the military people ghost you, they don't want to lie to you. They just stop talking to you. We confirmed the Dr. Craig McPherson, who admitted to Linda Howell in the '90s that he was a scientist working on reverse propulsion at AT&T. Just startling. The telepath, we were told in this memo, was a monk from the Charterhouse Transformational Seminary in Mount Equinox, Vermont. 2 years later, our investigator finds this guy, talks to this person, gets his picture. 2 months ago, we make contact again with this monk. He's 91. He's dying. He said he had the gift that remote viewers from NSA found out about this monastery. This is not a movie, folks. Found out about this monastery that some members had the gift of telepathy and remote viewing. They used these monks for counterintelligence in East Germany, and 2 of the monks were then sent to Area 51 to interview these extraterrestrials.
Hold on. So where are the monks from?
The Charterhouse Transformational Monastery in Mount Equinox, Vermont. I have a picture of this monk. We call him Brother Joseph. Coincidentally, one of the insiders tells us, I don't know a lot, but I remember hearing it over and over. He said, John, 2 men, 2 telepaths. Really, it was a thought projection interview. The ETs would place thoughts in your brain. It was not ESP. But he said, referring back to, without knowing the occupation of these men, he said, I do remember hearing in chatter that 2 men were specifically brought back constantly to do these interviews because they were so good at interpreting the visuals in their brain from these beings that they would sit down and immediately start turning to the military generals, colonels in the room and saying, oh, he means this. He wants to tell you this. Oh, the crap that's in the Indian Ocean. It is this shape. He said they were just like almost taking dictation. So I find it funny that I get told with photos and with their place of residence about 2 monks that were uncanny and so successful in this interrogation program. And another person tells me, without knowing that they were monks, that 2 men were really adept at interviewing these extraterrestrials. This being did breathe oxygen, but it needed hyperbaric chamber treatment with a little bit more of a lighter based oxygen mixture, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Our atmosphere is too dense, which is why it looks very puppet-like at times, which Whitley Schreiber and many abductees said that's the way the Greys move, this weird, stilted, puppet-like momentum, because it's got the neck in the middle of the head, where human beings have the neck at the base of our skull. And it did need hyperbaric treatment for a less denser oxygen mixture. Other beings that were brought to this facility did need various types of air quality, which is why a lot of the beans, when they moved, or came out of the craft, died instantly, which you hear from recovery specialists. We saw beans laying all over the ground
Right.
because they did not breathe oxygen. One bean in particular breathed methane. They had to build a special chamber and pump it in with methane gas. You hear about this Dan Burris, this microbiologist, talk about J-Rod, where eventually he was dying from a neuropathy and other ailments. They had to build him a biospheric chamber, which had special atmosphere to try and keep this being as alive as possible. Just bizarre stories that all overlap. I've not heard one person tell me a story from this program and facility that contradicted another story. Even Bob Lazar, who was a gentleman who has answered every one of my emails for the past 2 years.
Wow, really?
Told me the greatest. I know Bob. Well, I know for a fact Bob Lazar was at S4 because I saw him on an entry log. I don't know what he did there. I don't know what his job was. He could have swept the floors. But for 91 days, Bob Lazar was at S4. But I asked Bob Lazar, Bob, on the above ground level, because he was never at the below level, tell me about lunch. And I shut my mouth. I know how the above ground lunch is served, the above ground, to the regular staff. And he said, and I said, was it special? Was it? And he said, special. He said it was a lunch truck, and the sandwiches were like a cooler in 7-Eleven.
Ew.
Exactly what I heard from other men who were in this program before Bob Lazar and after Bob Lazar. So I just, and Bob could have been an electronics technician. He could have been a janitor and had lunch. But I find it funny that Bob Lazar described the lunch. I am going to tell you something I've never told anyone. An insider named Paul emailed me the lunch schedule of the AHC, the Alien Housing and Retention Facility, which is under S2 Alpha Annex. We've got the satellite photo. 5 days later, another one of my intel people said, what did you do? And I said, what? He said, did you get a schedule of lunch at the annex? I said, yes, but I was just trying to verify Bob Lazar. He said they are going crazy, and they want to now change the lunch schedule because this guy just told you what the hours of the feeding.
Oh,
happens.
You got the current lunch schedule, not like Bob Lazar. You got the current lunch schedule, like right now.
Correct. Correct. I got the current lunch schedule 9 months ago.
I love
and
that.
Wait a minute. Did you follow me? 2 days later, this guy knows that I was sent from another person the lunch schedule, and is telling me now that the Defense Intelligence Agency is scrambling the hours because it's been the hours, the schedule has been outed.
That's great.
It's great.
You're signing the alarms.
Right. I asked Bob, so how did this guy know I got emailed? Because they're monitoring my email. I asked Bob Lazar, and Bob Lazar tells me, Bob Lazar thought it was hysterical. Like, ooh, you're going to change the hours now of the little, Humvee,
right.
Whatever
it's now 9 to 2 instead of 10 to 3.
Right.
You know what I mean? Ooh.
Yeah, you're gonna fool the Russians. Now it's 15 minutes later. It's gonna come bobbling down the road to the facility to serve box lunches that Bob Lazar said were on the scale of 7-Eleven. I just think it's cute. It's charming. Right. It's hysterical.
Nothing to see here, folks. See, no, it's totally different. Lunch schedule is different. See, today we serve Texas toast.
See? Yeah,
tomorrow it's
exactly. Ribs. Let me tell you one more antithetical conjecture story.
That is a nut drop and a half to get the current. You guys want to run? Okay, here's your lunch schedule, bitch, for today. Tomorrow you're having meatloaf and what?
Vito, when you're in the bunker, somebody knowing the lunch schedule to you is a huge deal.
Hell yeah, right? It is. You're probably, pardon my language, your whole day probably relies around that, like lunch and
right.
Because to us it's amazing they're doing alien work. To this dude, he's changing an alien's diaper and he's sick of it. You know what I mean? It's like the 6th time this week that Xenon from Klaatu shit himself and started doing it. So
let me tell you another thing. My brother-in-law and I, who is not part of this investigation, but I was recruiting everyone. If you could help, and my brother-in-law helped. He's a corporate pilot for 30 years. By the book, my brother-in-law helped us break the Lockheed alien reproduction vehicle crash landing because we asked him, how do you fly a reproduction UFO without the FAA going, what the hell are you doing? He said you would just categorize it as experimental craft and do a round robin, and the FAA would be like, okay, it's got its waypoints, no problem. Very interesting. Anyways, but my brother-in-law, we were in Las Vegas. We interviewed, folks, don't roll your eyes. This is how reporters and investigators get info. We interviewed a beautician, born and raised in Las Vegas, who was a beautician for 35 years. The main crux of her clientele was from Area 51, Wackenhut, EG&G, military, and other people. Her uncle was a chef cook at Area 51. Her father was a mechanic out in Area 51. He could not stand the weirdness and the travel. He quit after 2 years. Listen to me about the food. She said, Uncle, tell me. He's like, honey, I can't tell you what goes on there, but I'm going to tell you one story. Every couple of days, when I would go into one section of the commissary, I mean, how do you make this story up? He said there was always a chef and his sous chef. That's like the assistant. And they were always off on an oven grill in a corner of the commissary. No one went up to them, but they were always cooking high-end, high-grade food. And we would joke with them and yell at them across the commissary that, is that for the aliens? And they would look back, not alarmed, and say, no, but it's for people very, very special. And the uncle, who was the chef, believed that was going to the underground levels of S4 to feed the scientists, to feed the military personnel, to feed the dignitaries, which is amazing because we heard dignitaries were there every so often and they would see these chefs every so often. It wasn't every day. It was once every 4 days, maybe once every 2 weeks, once a couple of days, miss a day, and it was sporadic. And I just find that a beautician story of a chef story matches a insider story that, oh no, the food truck didn't feed the personnel beneath. As Victor says, the people below ground do not come up to feed. That was specifically stated. And Victor said the high grade food would come down on the same kind of aircraft carrier dumbwaiter that the UFO was on. And Victor thought this was hysterical. That a extraterrestrial interstellar craft, not known to man, right next to it was a food cart. Really a rolling banquet food cart full of chicken fricassee.
If that's not typical United States efficiency, I don't know what it is. Like, just so people stick to their job, and here's a freaking, because you got it. People are like, oh, it's extravagant, but you got to remember, this is your job, and now it becomes you get used to it, just like a soldier, firefighting, just like a doctor, your job is operating, it becomes what you're used to. So what might be crazy to us is like every day, like, all right, enough already. This freaking thing shit itself.
I could tell you 15 insider things about the world of pro wrestling that would prove that it's fake, but they aren't things. Of course, I could show you stuff in the ring, what's going on, them talking to each other.
Still real to me.
What my point is that I could tell you 15 little insider tidbits that can tell you it's fake, and that's important because this is how you weave together a investigative story of proving something is real. I'm never going to have the alien body in formaldehyde. I'm never going to have the puppet, most likely. So it's these little conjecture stories that are proven and that are verified by sources that don't know each other. That tells me something very freaking bizarre happened south of Papoose Lake.
Do you know if this was an interdimensional being, or is this one that came from another planet?
This is an interstellar being. This was not interdimensional. although although many of the beings were interdimensional, that were interdicted, targeted, captured, retained, and interrogated by the United States government.
I'm
That's
assuming
your bottom dollar on
I'm
that.
assuming you watched the Joe Rogan and Annalena Luna interview, correct? I'm assuming you watched that, or
I did.
that blew my mind. I mean, like it started 5 minutes in, and she's just blowing out interdimensional beings, and I'm like, holy shit! This just like blew the lid off of it. Like it just changed everything for me. And I'm not religious, but it explains religion so much as far as angels and demons
And
go,
yeah,
especially if it's
it,
interdimensional
it,
to an
I,
extent, in my opinion.
I know other podcasters are going to cut this and put this and talk about what I'm about to say. So let
Go
me
for it.
just give a break. I find it funny because a theory that I have developed that other people in the inside of these programs are like, take it to the bank, is that the United States government, when they want to leak information, will find the most bizarre, strangest, sketchiest um, individuals that they can knock down like a straw man argument. I find it funny, okay? Hear me out here. I find it funny that Bob Lazar is pulled into this program that you can't prove his educational background. He ran a whorehouse, legitimately. Stan Dale, who's a ufologist, got thrown out of the U.S. Air Force Academy, was an FBI snitch informant. Bear with me. Suddenly, a used car dealer, pro wrestler who wore a bow feathered sequin robe is giving incredibly amount of information and documents regarding this program with a sketch who finished his last semester of college in a diploma mill. And then you have a congresswoman who was shown smoking crack with a boob job, a sex pot. And I love Luna. I think she's great.
Hold on,
I said
hold on, wait. I've never heard. Let's back that up again. Wait, rewind
they
that.
have her. There's a picture of her smoking what looks like a crack pipe in the backseat of a car. Yes.
It's probably a bowl. It's probably smoking weed.
Whatever it is. I'm just saying, she's not a congresswoman whose family came over on the Mayflower, and her dad was the Fed chairman, and she grew up in Newport, Rhode Island. It's why are all of these whistleblowers who come forward, me included, are somewhat wackadoodles? I mean, used car dealer, pro wrestler, a marijuana smoking sex pot in Congress, a Bob Lazar,
Yeah,
manager of a
I'm sorry.
whorehouse.
I
Am I
adore her.
making sense here?
I'm in love with her. I
Yeah.
completely.
I
Anna
mean, am
Luna, if
I
you're
making
watching this, I
sense?
love you so much. I really do. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I do too. I flew to Washington D.C. and hand delivered photos in my investigation to her office. So she is my go-to person, along with Burchett and
Oh wow.
AOC, and so no, I am not disparaging Looney. I am telling you that this has been verified by people in the program, retired people in the program, that when they come to a dead end, when they want to think out of the box, when they want to release information that they find or they gravitate towards, sketchy people that can be
I get it.
that
So
can be
so
that
people
their
question you
credibility can
like
be
David
knocked
Grush.
off.
People are questioning David Grush. I get it entirely. People that are going to have
Thank you.
some type
That's
of
all I'm
record,
saying.
like they would do it for me because I'm just some random nobody. Like, but then they
Like if
can
Jon
manipulate it.
Stewart gets too much traction with the New York Times, all they got to do is call up the New York Times and go, I just want to let you know, you're going to do a full page. And this happened when I met the New York Times reporters. This happened after. You're going to let a used car dealer, failed pro wrestler, do a story that's going to go on the front page. I just wanted to ask you that. Just remember who you're interviewing.
See, I'm the
And
type
that's
of
it.
dude.
And that's it.
I've been rebellious my entire life. Like you tell me to do this, and no, I don't want to. No. Why do I need to do that? Or don't like this politician, or don't listen to this person. That immediately makes me look into it. So I'm
Right.
always been combative.
Right.
Always been rebellious. There's a reason there's Star Wars behind me. I'm obsessed with rebellion, and even though I'm a big America First guy, big pro America guy, I still don't like being told what to do by Big Daddy. Like, you're not
Yeah.
going to tell me what to do. Like, I just
Yeah.
no. I'm going to have my own mind, form my own opinion about everything. That's how I roll. So yeah, I'm the same way. So yeah, they probably fuck with me a little bit too. I see this happening. Like, if this blows up a little bit, I see me getting messed with because I got a big.
Oh, you will.
I can't help
Yeah.
myself.
No doubt about it.
If you notice, I've been assaulting Twitter because my first week on Twitter, I've been kind of going nuts,
R-
reaching out to
right.
people, trying to get interviews, and just trying to blow the lid off some of this stuff.
It,
Man, enough.
it was
I want the truth.
it was great. I want to tell you a story. Bart Sabrell, the guy that produced did astronauts gone wild? Did we really walk on the moon? Regardless of what you think of his theories or whatever, I called him one day. I'm like, Bart, they're effing with me and blah 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 blah. And my whole business, I lost these contracts. I was doing a huge real estate deal. I'm like, I lost it. It's off my phone, and he is laughing his ass off on the other end of the phone. I'm like, you jag off? What's so funny? He goes, it's working. I'm like, what's working? He goes, what they're doing to you.
Yeah,
I'm like, what are they doing to me? He goes, John, they don't kill people anymore. That was the days before the Soviet Union collapsed. They don't kill anybody anymore. They're just going to make you batshit crazy. And he goes, you just told me you're screaming to your wife on the phone. You and your father are screaming at each other because you deleted a contract is now off your phone for a real estate deal. You're going crazy, calling me screaming, hey, buddy, it's working. They're doing it to you. Wow. That was a prophetic moment of my life. That hit me like a sack of potatoes. They're not going to kill you. They're going to try and make you crazy. How do you make somebody crazy in 2025? You screw with their phone. You screw with their emails. You delete stuff. You rearrange the apps.
Yeah, you leave their car door unlocked, or you fuck with their car. That's one way.
My wife's, and people are going to say he's bragging here. My wife's 5-year-old Jaguar SUV that was in my name gets broken into. You know what was stolen? Nothing.
Yeah,
but you know what they did?
You know.
Went into the glove box, went into the center console, whipped all the papers. The police department from Deerfield, you can see the incident report. Said I find it really weird. They didn't take anything. Yeah. What did my intel friend say? Oh, that's a signal. Just like they did to Dave Grush. They broke into his house, left Dave Grush a signal. As the alleged grassy knoll shooter of John F. Kennedy, don't roll your eyes, folks. As the alleged grassy knoll shooter of John F. Kennedy told me at lunch, he said, Johnny, it's called me Johnny, first they destroy your character. Then they destroy and kill your dog. And then you know who's next. He said, the minute you see something disparaging about you in the media, you've touched a live wire with them. He goes, right now, they're screwing with you. They're trying to make you scared. They're trying to drive you crazy. He laughed when he heard my wife's car was broken into and stuff scattered. What David Grush, what they did to him. Then all of a sudden, the story about David Grush being in a mental health facility. Just like this former CIA mafia hitman told me, the second is destroy your character. Then it's kill your dog, and then it's your wife and family, and then it's you.
I mean, look
that's the old school.
Look what they just attempted to do to the, and I don't know how, this is not getting political, but look what they just attempted to do to the former president and now current president of the States. They attempted to destroy that man for 4 years any way they could. And this is
correct.
A billionaire, Donald Trump, and you're a car dealership. Like, I can only imagine what they do to normal people. David Grush is a hero, in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, the dude, especially if he's telling the truth, the man is a hero. And he deserves, recognition and to be afraid, for Christ's sake.
I told the New York. You want to talk about being monitored? The New York Times told me if he had somebody from the military come forward that's currently in the military to say that we've got Kraft and beans, we're a green light. Magically, after I go around Congress handing out these photos and investigation. Right after the New York Times reporters told me that, magically, 6 weeks later, David Grush shows and testifies to Congress. with the watered down version. This is called a limited hangout. This is a counterintelligence operation. But I don't think David Grush was part of it. I think he was unknowingly promoted to do this. David Grush says we have biologics and we have craft. The watered down version of we got UFOs and we've got aliens in retention.
Right. Did you hear the Tupacabra Twitter space where Eric Burleson popped in there and he just started answering? That was
amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
The dam is breaking, folks. The dam is breaking. They're just trying to contain it because there are listen to me. I'm 58. I'm your Uncle John. I don't lie. Listen to me. Listen to me, my friends. Now I'm getting in my Chicago outfit now. Listen to me. There are CEOs, colonels, generals, private contractors that are on pensions, living on country clubs, at their country clubs on the East Coast, living the life you could only dream of, that are terrified of going to jail or being executed for treason. So they have to be assured that we will not prosecute them, that will give them amnesty. This is the only thing that is gumming up and stopping full disclosure.
Yeah, now, that's the only thing. Yeah, that's what stopped Trump from releasing the JFK files the first time.
Right.
Was the fact that Bush was still alive and Bush was involved in it.
Correct.
That's the reality. So they're not going to. They absolutely. Even though I think people need to pay for what they've done to people, because it's not okay hurting people's lives. Like, these are innocent American citizens that just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time 99% of the time, and then to do horrible things to them. But you're right. Unfortunately, amnesty needs to be the blanket thing. It needs to just be a blanket pardon. You know, we know there's bodies. You know, people have been killed. You know, they've been harmed. And then not only that, that'll finally people will be able to get the medical attention they need, because there's people who like happen to stand too close to the craft and all of a sudden they got a tumor in their leg the size of fucking Texas. So that's not okay. You need to help people, you know, that just basically wanted to earn a pension, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, just working out at S4, you had to wear a DOS meter for nuclear radiation.
Yeah, radiation.
I'm the only one that's ever said that on the internet just now. When you worked out at S4, Papoose Lake, you had to have a radiation, I think it's called a DOS meter. It looked like a little pen with a little digital readout. And my point is, because you're right, because it was dangerous. Yes, you need, this is why I'm still alive, because I respect the military. I was one of the people that kept the North Chicago VA open, which they later built a $132 million John Lovell Surgical Center. Look it up. Prove I'm lying. The opening speech of the groundbreaking ceremony of the John Lovell Surgical Center at the North Chicago VA, the opening line was, when Jon Stewart and I heard that this facility was closing, we knew we had to take action. Okay, I'm not bragging. My point is, amnesty for everybody in these programs. Keep the secret technology secret, away from our enemies. But God damn it, tell the American people we have had crash retrieval, we have had beams, we have had craft. Take us inside one of these crafts, show us a couple of the dead aliens. We'll all go on with our lives.
Have you had contact with any of the? I mean, you're not technically a whistleblower, but you're blowing a lid off this case. Have you had contact with any of the other whistleblowers like Michael Herrera? Because the reason I was asking you about you were bringing up the thing about the monk. I want to bring it back to that real quick for a second. You were bringing up the thing about the monk, and I asked you where he's from. You answered which monastery in the United States the monk is from. My question, what I wanted to know was, heritage-wise, where is he from? Because I believe Michael Herrera made a statement about them capturing people in Indonesia? So I was curious if these were maybe Indonesian monks, and these are the same, possible because it's the same timeline.
No,
okay,
no, total. He looks like a Vito. You're gonna laugh. He looks like a high school gym coach from 1982 at St. Cecilia's grade school in Brooklyn.
With like tape in
Irish, big 80s glasses, toothy smile.
All right. So I was just curious if that was. I was like, wow, because I started thinking, because you started saying monks in India, and I started thinking Tibetan monk, and then my mind goes Indonesia. I'm going 16 different places.
Right. But yes, I am friends with Michael Herrera. I am friends with Jason Sands. That just I use the vernacular, sweethearts, just nice
That's
guys,
awesome.
gentlemen.
I would love to talk to those gentlemen. I saw they weren't doing interviews, but you know.
I'll get you. I'll see if they'll come on. But nice guys. One of them, I won't say who, has been an intermediary between me and David Grush. Just nice people. So yes, I have communicated with some of the whistleblowers.
Oh, that's awesome. Because yeah,
Yeah.
I want to make this just. I want to have people able to tell their story. I don't want to judge you. I'm not here to judge you. I want to
Yeah,
listen to what you have to
right,
say. You know, you could be
right.
telling the truth. That alien could be real. The whole thing could be real, and it could be just a psyop to screw people over and make people think
Right.
that it's not real. I mean, you don't know.
That's right.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what an alien looked like if it dry humped my leg tomorrow. You know what
Neither
I mean?
do I.
So to say it's not like the Nazca mummies. What do you think of those things? I think those things are legit. I think those things are absolutely legit.
I think they're legit. You want to hear something I've never said before? Um, I mean, I could go through 50 points of interest why they are legit. There was a plate that was almost like hermetically, biologically welded either to the chest
Mhm.
or to the skull cap that was
Yeah.
done thousands of years ago. Stop.
Right,
With this,
right.
they were made up.
And not only that,
Despite-
you got three or four of them that are actually pregnant, one with eggs and one
Right.
with an actual baby. End
Here's
of
what
fucking
you're never
discussion. End of discussion's over.
Here's what you're never going to hear. Okay, I get an X-ray of the spine of the Nazca extraterrestrials. The spine. I'm reading a National Geographic magazine at my house because I like that magazine.
Right.
I see a huge color photo. The spine of Osiris. Osiris was allegedly an ET that came from the heavens.
Right.
The amulet of the spine of Osiris matches perfectly to the spine of one of those Nazca mummies. Now, you tell me how an Egyptian priest wears the amulet, or they wore an amulet of an Egyptian priest that came down from the heavens, and it's the same thing as the spine of a Nazca mummy, and they call it the spine of Osiris. Give me game, set, and match. Those mummies are real, and I'll bet everything on it that they're real.
I think all three versions, because people are like, oh, the small ones, no, we think those. I don't know, because once I found out that it wasn't, when they actually X-rayed them, they found the implants. Then they found that they weren't an assortment of bones. That was all bullshit. This is last year. I go, those things are real. I guarantee you, those goddamn things are going to be real. Now, do I think they're aliens? Don't know, but they're creatures. They're alive. They walked on 2 feet, and they're human-like. So what else are they? They need to search, and they're not going to know where they came from because that dude's not telling what cave they came from. And people are like, oh, why are they mummified? They're not mummified. They were preserved in Damascus earth, which is the thing that goes into pools, which is what I put in my pool heater, in my pool in the backyard. But it's just, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, they God, lost my train of thought. I just find it remarkable that oh, I know what I was going to say. Do you remember the relief, the Egyptian relief of the big-headed pharaoh, and he's got a little tiny one of these Nazca mummies on his knee, and people think, well, that was a giant holding a human. Do you think maybe it was a regular-sized being holding the small, diminutive Nazca mummy?
Right.
Think again, folks. Think again.
Right, and they happen to look like the goddamn things from Men in Black and the things from
Exactly. There you go.
Close Encounters. Like, come on, bro.
That's right.
These people are getting told something. There's no way they're not getting told something.
Right.
So what else have you gotten going on in the future, John, with this? You got a documentary, or what else have you got?
Trying to get the frick out of the UFO community.
Yeah, I see you caused quite the stir on Twitter, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. So yeah, just trying to. I want to put this to bed. I want to put it to rest. And I'm not going to stop until we get a big budget, 6-figure type production on worldwide streaming services. We are very close. I know it's going to happen. And what's exciting about that is, like many Netflix documentaries, it's done so well that it spurns the public to action. Stormy,
I mean, you could be the next Tiger King.
You could be
the next Tiger King.
That's right. Making of a Murderer with the guys from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, the Tiger King. Where is Amanda Murray? Yes, yes. We're going to spurn the public to demand action. So that's what I'm working on.
All right, so this is what you got going on. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you, man. I listen. You have my number. You can reach out to me anytime. Please don't hesitate.
I will.
I keep very weird hours, so don't feel weird about texting me late at night. I'll try not to text you late at night if something pops up. If you have anybody who would like to come on here and talk to me, I'll talk to anybody, and I'll let them share their thing. And it's not just UFO. I do paranormal stuff as well, as far as ghosts and stuff. I don't know how you are in that realm. I just personally don't like to involve myself in it physically because I'm how do I explain it? Since I was a
smart.
Yeah, well, no, yes, smart, and I don't want to bring hitchhikers because since I was a kid, I've had numerous and constant interactions with ghosts and things that aren't here that I can see that others can't. I've had interactions with them. I've spoken to them twice in my life, and even now at the firehouse that I work at, it's actually haunted and it constantly messes with me. And I've been trying to get it on video. I'm going to get it on video eventually, but I've seen some crazy shit at that firehouse. And I don't want to bring a hitchhiker with me. So I'll discuss the ghost stuff, but I'm not going firsthand and investigating shit because I don't want anything weird to my house. No, thank you. You know, you just stay where that scares me. I can fight an alien, kind of. I can't fist fight a ghost. You know what I mean? I'll probably lose fighting an alien, but that's just my mentality. So, but thank you so much for doing this, man. I appreciate you so much. This was awesome. I'll get this edited and up. And hopefully it'll do you justice, and we'll get a bunch of views on it. I'm a small channel. I cannot promise millions of views. Probably get
of course
100, but it's growing. I want this to blow up. I got some pretty big interviews coming up next week. I'll tell you about it.
Good for you. Keep in touch, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to plug before you drop off?
No, I'm just glad Stella, the black special needs Labrador Retriever, was nice and quiet on the couch next to me.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you, Stella.
Good boy, girl.
Hi, honey.
Thank you so much.